out. Oh, no. Accidentally did a face reveal. Which flag map shall we do instead of the world? What shall we do? Which world map? I want to go all the way down here. Sorry if that took long for you. First. Did anyone notice that the little piece, like this part right here, that little piece? Or the part like this, I don't know. Alternate flag map of Egypt. Actually, no. I remember the UK colonizing Africa. No, not Africa. Egypt. Let me go down here. We're already 2 minutes in and I haven't finished one single flag map yet. All of these countries I'm tracing out will be just British. They're not from British Columbia. Who's saying Canadian though? Probably no one. Hey, British South Africa. I want to make an alternate flag map of Africa 1938. Where it's the 1938 map of Africa at the part where Egypt starts becoming independent. Becomes an independent country until people I don't know. Dallas. We go all the way up here, and here, and there. Oh no, before we do that, we'll just split that. All the way here, 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 here. Here, all the way here. I don't think Qatar and Bahrain are British. I like to colonize. I don't think they are. Get a UK flag. Huh? Wait, back.
He had the killer's blood from the crime scene and some of his fingerprints and little else. But in the years since Enid's murder in 1981, there had been more technological advances in forensic science than in any other time in history. In this age of personal computers, it's hard to remember that in the 1980s, very few people had even seen a computer, let alone used one. Large, expensive mainframe computers were the standard.
There we
But the
go.
Eye to the future. The FBI and the Lockheed Lockheed Martin company experimented with using computers to analyze and compare fingerprints. When scanners were developed to capture the prints and the files could be compressed and formatted, the AFIS was born.
AFIS is actually an acronym for Automated Fingerprint Identification System, and it's a computer system. And what it does, it photographs a latent print, it scans it, and then it'll give us a candidate list, usually of 10 people who have similar characteristics to the one that we entered into the system.
This new technology revolutionized fingerprint analysis not only for new cases, but for old ones.
I would occasionally revisit a lot of my old cases and ask for a recheck of the prints.
So Detective Boland sent the 4 prints found in Enid Whittlesey's home back to the forensics lab. AFIS found no match for the 3 prints taken from the window, but the AFIS had found with the partial palm print.
The partial print was such a small area that you weren't sure if it was actually from a fingerprint or if it was from a palm area of the hand.
In this case, the AFIS determined that the print was a partial fingerprint and not a palm print. And the computer identified 10 individuals whose prints needed to be examined further.
We're then able to pull the cards of those candidates and do a comparison. And we do a side-by-side comparison using a special magnifying glass.
The latent print examination identified the owner of the print, Carl Stewart.
I immediately began a background search and found him to live within a half mile of the victim. He had a lengthy record within the Wilshire Division, having been arrested several times for theft and things of that nature.
Ironically, Carl Stewart was sitting in a Los Angeles jail following an arrest on domestic abuse charges.
I went and found the spouse that had filed the charges on him. I sat down and I interviewed her. Through her, I had learned that he was a person that didn't really care for elderly people, and that he had been a burglar.
She also told police that Stewart targeted seniors in Beverly Hills, Culver City, and Wilshire near his home. And she said one more thing, that Stewart was left-handed. On December 26, 1996, Detective Boland and 2 others interviewed Carl Stewart.
About where he lived, his background, and his life, and this city was hurt to the point where he died.
Okay, I didn't do that. I didn't do that.
Does he know that?
No.
At first, Carl Stewart claimed he knew nothing about the robbery or Enid Whittlesey. Then, he changed his story.
I seen her in the neighborhood. I remember she would wave at the kids playing when we was little. Like, when you would see her ride a bike, she would wave at you and stuff. And, you know, everybody would pretty much wave back at her or something like that.
As my partner and I would produce some information on bits and pieces of evidence, we would rethink his statement and work around the evidence that was obtained and how we got there.
When told his fingerprint was near Enid's front door, Stewart said he had once been inside her home briefly and had nothing to do with her murder. District Attorney Hayden Zaki would make the decision on whether to take this case to trial.
Crime happened on March 11th, 1981, when I was still in high school. And I thought to myself, boy, this is an old case. Are we still going to have witnesses available, for instance? Did we preserve all the evidence properly?
Even with the print, Zaki knew it wasn't enough to convict Stewart for Enid's murder.
All he had is a fingerprint. I mean, I guess in theory we could have prosecuted with only a fingerprint, but we could have explained the fingerprint away pretty easily.
All of the other evidence had been in the property room of the 16 problem and bring Carl Stewart to justice.
This weekend, it's going to be a blast.
How would you like us to be remembered?
Good morning, Grandpa.
And Carl Stewart was taken to the dispensary at the county jail, and blood was drawn. That blood was labeled and given to me for typing purposes.
Investigators wanted to make sure that it was Carl Stewart's blood inside Enid Whittlesey's home. To do that, scientists needed a sample of Stewart's blood as well as Enid Whittlesey's. The swatch of Enid's blood taken at her autopsy was missing from the evidence file.
So what we did, move the coroner's blood swatch. We used Enid Whittlesey's pajama top. That was what we were hoping would serve as her reference blood sample, because it was heavily blood stained.
Small, dry samples of that pajama top were placed in sterile water.
Water dissolves stained, and it also caused some cells that are present in the white blood cells, which became DNA. The
next step is to clean the DNA.
I have something called a centrifug tube. It's basically a filter, and what it does is it accomplishes two things. It cleans the DNA, and it also concentrates it to a smaller volume.
What the heck is DNA? This ain't NASA.
DNA is then replicated multiple times to a workable sample through a polymerase chain reaction, or PCR. Genetic markers were typed and illuminated by a blue color attached to the PCR file.
I had one cell
There we go. And lastly, Union of South Africa. You'll finish Saudi Arabia, and then Yemen, which got independence.
Carl Stewart left
But Oman and the United Arab Emirates did not get any independence. There we go. Of course, I forgot about that little part.
He believes that Carl Stewart first noticed these for bicycle rides through the neighborhood.
Alternate flag map of
Front window, leaving his footprint on the dust rustic piano underneath.
Ooh, wait, this is kind of cool.
The motive was robbery.
Let's put the Belgian Congo right here.
Upstairs,
We just gotta find Belgium flag. Yeah,
defensive wounds to
there it
Ian's
is.
arms and hands.
Why is Equatorial Guinea even Belgian anyway? It's not even Belgian.
Stewart cut his left hand, which left a trail of blood down the left-hand side of the steps. Stewart left his partial print near the front door as he left the scene.
Why did he cut off his hand? It's stupid.
Originally thought to be a palm print, but later identified as a partial fingerprint by the automated fingerprint identification system.
We knew we got our man. We knew that Carl Franklin Stewart was in that house because he left a fingerprint and he left blood. So that's how we knew we had our man.
It took the jury just 2 hours to find Carl Stewart guilty of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole. This was the first homicide investigation assigned to Frank Bowman. Despite taking 17 years, he refused to give up.
He will give 110% to every investigation that he participates in. Sometimes he's a little bit of a pain, but it's also a good cause. I enjoy working with him.
I can't say it's a happy thing, but if you take a person off the street that was responsible for a horrendous vicious crime, and I would say that the world, whoever in general, because this person is behind bars.
Gone unsolved that you couldn't do. You couldn't do anything with, and then along comes the technology. I think it is so much
Technology.